Let's talk about the idea. We're talking about the idea of a ma'akeh. You know what a ma'akeh is?
Microphone.
Huh? A ma'akeh. If you build a new house, so you have to make a fence around the roof of your house. And the Rambam says you have to make a bracha on that mitzvah. Ma'akeh. Never heard of that before, a ma'akeh? You build a new house, you have to make a fence around the top of your house so that no one will fall off. And the Rambam says you should make a blessing on that. But on the other hand, the Rambam says something, the opposite. What does he say? He says any commandment, anything in the Torah that you do in order to prevent damages, you don't make a blessing on it. Like mayim achronim in a meal, you make mayim achronim, you don't make a blessing. Why? Because it's there in order to take away a damage.
Preemptive measures.
What? Preemptive measures, right. So here's a fence around your house, and it says in the Torah you should make a fence around your house so that no one will fall from your house. Obviously a preemptive measure, and nevertheless, and the Rambam says you don't make blessings on preemptive measures, and here he says you do make a blessing. Says the Rebbe, why? We have to say that according to the Rambam, there's two commandments. One commandment is you have to not do anything that could bring damage. That's one mitzvah, and that you don't make a blessing. And there's another one of making a fence around your house, which you have to do separately, not for any reason. You just do it because that's what God said. And if it happens to be that the fence stops somebody from falling down, that's very good. It's wonderful. Wonderful. On that aspect, you don't make a blessing. But because you do, okay, what do we care? Well, come on, what do we care? It's an interesting law. But what difference does it make to us? Says the Rebbe, I'll tell you what difference. You want to hear what difference? Listen to this. How is this regarding the life of man? Or more exactly, the service of man to God, which that's our life. When a Jew wants to do something new, and it's not enough all of the cautions that he takes beforehand. That through them he was able to stand up against any difficulties and tests and hardships and challenges. You want to do something new, you want to move up in life. Let's say a person wants to get married. So before he was married, he also had to be in the world. He has to deal with the world. He had to go to the store and buy things. He had a next door neighbor. He met people. He had dealings with them. He had to know how to act properly, right? Not to go crazy every time somebody cuts you off in their car and etc. But now you want to get married, that's a whole new thing. Now it's not enough the old precautions and the old methods that you used in order to keep calm and normal, and you have to do something new. You're going to build a new house, you have to make a fence around the top. It could be it could be that a person makes a new thing. Let's say, for instance, he goes to get married. So it could be that he could say, I'm getting married, everything's going to be okay. What are you doing? A person might bless himself in his heart and say, I'm succeeding, everything is okay. New endeavor, right? No problems. A person, since he's up to now has not done any major sins, so therefore the way I look at life is okay. But Allah Ladad, you have to know that since you're doing something new, mutelas Allah avodah chadasha, you have to also have a new outlook and attitude toward life. Allah lid'og sheyochal lamod b'nisyonos, you have to take caution that you can stand up against the new tests that they're going to be, the new challenges and difficulties, new experiences. Alulim liot ba'avodato chadasha, that could be in his new service. He goes and gets married, for instance, goes and gets a new job, right? A person can think, everything's okay, I'll just sort of roll with the tide and let everything go, let God take care of everything. Says that's a good idea to let God take care of everything. Is the godly things he has to take care of. But there's one of the things that God can't take care of is your free will. God gave you free will. God wants you to use the free will on your own. God can certainly help you. You can pray to God and ask to God. But most people say, what do I have to pray to God for? I'm getting married. Everything's okay, right? Before I was half a man, now I'm a whole person. Before I had I had to cook my own. Now she's going to cook for me. I have a partner. She's going to serve me. She's going to this. I'm going to be a king. She'll be the queen. All of a sudden you get married and you see she'll be the queen, but you're not going to be the king. Uh-oh, what's going to be then? All of a sudden new things happen. Surprises, right? He gets home, nothing, no food is ready. Right? He forgets to bring flowers home for Shabbos. Black Shabbos. Cold shoulder. Cholent. That's worse than a cold shoulder. Sha'adam yotzei mikot lebeit hamidrash l'bayah l'reshut harabim. When a person goes out from his place of learning into the real world, sha'az matchila l'dido avoda chadasha, then you have to do new work. You're going to now have clients. You're going to have complaints. You're going to have competition. V'hu nitkal b'inyanim shelo haya lo ad kol mega itamara. So all of a sudden you meet new things you never had before. In your life, you're coming to the yeshiva. All of a sudden you're going to have a roommate. You have to go to the lunchroom. You're going to have to sit and learn. You can't look at your cellular phone whenever you want to, etc. Excuse me. Hu adavar legabe kol adam, so it is regarding every day, every man, every day. Shahari betchila shel yom, in the beginning of the day, you have to pray to God, and afterwards you have to learn Torah. And then after that, when you go out of learning, praying and learning Torah, now you're going to have to start dealing with the world. Then when you start dealing with the world every day, you have to make a fence around the top of your house so you don't fall down from it. You want to go up to new heights, there's new dangers. If you fall from a place that's 1 foot high, you could break your nose. But if you fall from a place that's 3 foot high, you could break more. And if you fall from a place that's even higher, don't even think about it. So you want to raise up a little bit in life. You want to have married, you got children, you want, etc. So you want even more. You want to wake up in the morning. You want to go to them. Every day is brand new. You have to make a fence around your head, around the roof of your house. You have to make a makkah in order to be careful that the things in the world do not affect him improperly, so that there should not be blood on your house, namely yourself, v'yipol and nofel, and bad things won't happen. Watch it. You have to take care. Therefore, yesh makom, there is a place. Oh, I'm sorry. Kashem shebegashmi is just like physically. You have to have a physical fence around your house if it's high enough. And the fence has to be higher than the roof of your house. Also spiritually. Tzorech liot makeh, there has to be a fence around your, we'll see what it means, around your thoughts, around your roof. And the fence has to be higher than the roof. You have to have help from a level that's higher than yourself. You want to be the boss, you're not going to be lost for long. If you don't connect with the creator of the universe, then eventually something negative will happen. Something negative will happen. You see, there's a lot of people now, they're finding, let's not forget about the actual corruption in government. Government corruption. Very, very common, unfortunate. In America now they're starting to reveal, at least they suspect, new untold levels of government corruption and decadence and perfidy, what is it? Treacherousness. That's the word. Treacherousness. Traitorness. Huh? What's that? Treason. Right. Treason. Right. All of a sudden, they start to realize what happens. These people get up to high levels, and obviously they have some sort of qualities, if nothing else, than just being popular. And they get up to high levels, and as soon as they get up to high level, they think there's nothing above them. There's nothing above them. The only problem they have to have is maybe who's above them is the police. So they have to do what they can to either bribe the police or not to get caught by the police or cover up their tracks. So, but essentially what's it talking about? A person that gets up to a high position as he thinks there's nothing above him. As soon as you think that, corruption. All of a sudden people, how do they say? Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Ever heard that saying before? Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. What does that mean, absolute power? It means you think that you're the absolute power. But the fact of the matter is that God is above you. Or if you want to say it in normal terms, your conscience should be above you. Your conscience should say, don't steal, don't kill, don't cheat, don't... So that's what your conscience should say. So there has to be something above you. This idea of making a conscience above you, taking care, now your conscience usually only bothers you after you do something. Right? Conscience bothers you usually after you do something. Here the Rebbe is saying, follow your conscience before you do something so you won't do anything. Put a fence around your house, ahead. Don't look in places where you're not supposed to look. Don't listen to things you're not supposed to listen. When thoughts pop up in your mind, just say, I'm not going to take that thought. We'll see. Lefichach, therefore, there's a place, even a necessity. Levorech, you should make a blessing. Al asiyat makeh, on making this fence. Shekein keitzad efsharid asiyat makeh, how can you do it? Eich mesugal adam lahavia makeh, how can you make this thing above you that will watch you over? You have to make a bracha. L'shem kach yesh tzorich bracha. You have to make a blessing on the fence. What do you mean a blessing? You're drawing from something higher than yourself. You are not alone. You have to draw from a source that is higher than yourself. Lefi Pirush Razal, according to the rabbis, say, bracha means mavrich et gefen. You draw something down from a high place to a low place. Kolomar, hamshacha, drawing down. Baruch atah Hashem, baruch means you're drawing God down into the world. Hanaleh min olam, God is above the world, and we're drawing God down into the world. And that's Elokeinu. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu. Elokim is gevura, power, contraction, limiting to us, plural. We can draw godliness into this plural, confusing, harsh, unforgiving world. Huh? Maybe move the fan a little because it's blowing over here. Twist it a little bit so it's more on you. More, there we go. Good. So it says, Baruch atah Elokeinu, blessed are you God. Elokeinu means the world. We're drawing God down into the world, and it comes down to the Melech Olam, that suddenly we feel that God is the king of the world. This is talking about making this fence. You want to make a fence, you want to protect yourself, your head, from going into not good things. And I'm sure we all know people, nice people, people that are talented, people that are intelligent, people that are kind, have good hearts, and they get caught up in the world, in addiction, in terrible things. So therefore, the only way we can do is make a fence. How do you make a fence? You have to make a blessing. You connect to God and bring him down into the world. And you make asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav, that he commanded us with his commandments, vitzivanu, and he joined to us. Lasod maka mikol zeh b'toch this ba hakoach ve'efsharut lasod maka gavoa asur tvachim. Therefore, this gives us the power to make a ma'akeh, to make a fence around our personal lives. Al Gag Olam Abriya, on the top of the world, what's this called? The world of Bria. Olam Atzilus, like the rabbis say. Atabola taken li eta toda. Now the fans are going. Hahora maforetet mikol amor. What is the teaching from everything we have said? You know what we're talking about, Levi? Makeh, making a fence around your personal life so that you don't fall down. How do you do it? You have to make a bracha. That's why the Rambam says you have to make a bracha. Even though it's a thing that prevents damages, but the only way, and the Rambam says you don't make a blessing on things that prevent damage, but in this case you do, because the whole idea of a makeh is a separate commandment. And what is the commandment? To be, like you said, preemptive. To connect yourself with a higher source of reality that will prevent you from falling down. Why do people fall down? Because they think they're alone. They think they're alone. They're alone. All of a sudden the whole world is so big and so empty. What? Hey, you know what? I can do whatever I want. Well, this is amazing. This is wonderful. I'm all alone. No one watching me. I can do whatever I want. Right? Well, there's a whole world out there waiting for you, for people, like they say, never give a sucker an even break. You ever hear that story? Is that saying? Never give a sucker. No, a person who wants for himself. Right? So they used to say in the circuses, person you want for yourself, you want to win, never have mercy on him. There's people out there waiting, want to feel good. Alice in Wonderland. You ever see the movie Alice in Wonderland? It's a cartoon a long time ago. He gets to a place, eat me, drink me, this. Hey, you'll do this, you'll feel good. Oh, I did, it feels good. Well, this is the answer. All of a sudden you get caught in an empty world. You're an empty person in an empty world. And then you can write books about how empty the world is and how no philosophy means anything, and just be yourself and do yourself. You become popular with millions of other empty people, and that look to you for a consolation and a justification for the emptiness. Says the Rebbe, let's not go so far. Let's stop this thing from the beginning. Connect yourself with the creator of the universe. What's the teaching? What's the teaching? Hahora maforetet mikol amor. The clear and detailed teaching from all we said. Kadugma Torah kavod kedushas morichami admor. Sheyesh lahosif, that we must add. V'kol Rosh Hashanah, every Rosh Hashanah. Tosefet behidur mitzvot aseh. Every Rosh Hashanah you have to add on another positive commandment, and zihirut milot aseh, and an extra caution in negative commandments and in good conduct. Right? You have a particular negative commandment that is tempting you. Make an extra fence for that. You have an extra certain positive commandment that's hard for you to do. Learn Torah, put on tefillin. Add in that. Make an addition. Even if up to now you've acted okay. Lefisha call Rosh Hashanah, because every Rosh Hashanah there is a new light, a new burst of energy drawn down to the whole entire world. Like it says in Igros Kodesh, we learned that, chapter 14, Igros Kodesh. Kach b'shah Yehudi, at the time when a Jew starts new service of God, im b'shah shu yotze mikotli beit midrash, when he goes out from the learning place. You're listening to me, Levi, into the world. And if every day after the prayers and after his learning, then he starts to have a contact be'inyani olam, with matters of the world, every day you have to add on a little bit b'mamado u'matzav hakodem, from what he was doing previously. Attitude. You have to have a more positive attitude. That's what it means if you build a new house. You should make a fence for your roof. Milamaila, from above, the power was given to you, the ability was given to you to make an ma'akeh, a fence around your life, so you don't fall to your death. Begova yud tefachim. All it has to be is 10 tefachim. It's about as high as this table, about 3 feet high, something like that. Lahamshich or, and this not only protects you from falling off. How does it protect you from falling off? Because it draws down a light. It draws down new meaning to life, new reasons to do good, to keep happy. It draws down light, a new awareness of God, a new meaning to every moment. Bakal eser kokos nefesh, and it does it in all of your personality. Live, I don't know. I think there's a letter lamed. I think there might be spelling errors here, but I can't be sure. Mi kochos Chabad li. Okay, maybe not. From the powers of Chachma bin Adas, in other words, your attitude, the way you look at the world, the way you understand the world, until Koach HaMaisa, until what you actually do. Sometimes people can have wonderful life philosophies, but they're terrible people. Sometimes people can have terrible life philosophies, but they're really nice. They really help people and they're not selfish. Says the Rebbe, let's have the whole thing okay. Good philosophy, good way of looking at the world, God is good, God helps you, etc. And also be a nice person. Some people can think, God is good, God helps you, have the Torah, and anyone who's against me, disagrees with me.
Is there water on here?
Yes. Go to the end. It's the exact same thing as upstairs. I hope there's cups.
I don't think that works.
Doesn't work? I don't know.
It works.
Yeah?
You have to turn it on.
As then boli de tikun, v'lo tasim damim, and then you will be that there will not be any blood on your house. No one will fall down. You won't fall in your connection to God. Exactly the opposite. Will be kitiferet adam Yeshiva Sept bayit. It will be like it says, the beauty of a person is when he dwells in a house. Your house will be a good house, a house that is filled with meaning and blessing and happiness and children and health and wealth and gute Sachen, good things. Next sikha, maybe you can turn it off and we'll go. Yesh de'ot, there are some people that say Shekriyat Parshat Zohar in right in the end of this week's Torah portion, Parshat Teitzei, is the how do you say, the commandment to wipe out a Amalek. Okay, what is a Amalek? A Amalek is a nation of people, a certain race or whatever, a nation is, that their whole thing is to make war against God. And how do they make war against God? Yeah, do you shoot arrows in the sky? They hate the Jews. They know the Jews are God's people, and they want to destroy the Jews. Yesh Deot, some people say that the part of the reading core of this week's portion, in the end of this week's portion, okay, there was water there? Yeah. Parshat Zachar. Oh, we learned about that, didn't we, last night? Amalek. Some people say that the end of this week's portion is from the Torah. It's a positive commandment. Zachor Amalek. Or at least reading Parshat Zachor, the same thing we read right before Purim, Shabbos before Purim. Milavada Aseh Shel Zachor, beside the positive commandment of remembering Amalek, Yamach Shemo v'Zichro, Yesh Gam the Lav, there's also the negative commandment of don't forget Amalek. V'zeh echad me'animukim shel hadeot, this is actually one of the proofs that the opinion says that women also have to are obligated in this commandment of remembering Amalek. Because women are obligated to wipe out Amalek, women are obligated in all the negative commandments of the Torah. So therefore, they must be obligated also to remember Amalek, the positive commandment. Nikan, moving from this, it's understood how necessary it is to remember Amalek. What?
I'm going to take a shot.
A shlaf, good.
Should I do this here?
Have a good shlaf, yes. I hope that door is still open, should be open.
Which one?
In my house.
Upstairs?
Yes. Around the side.
Okay.
Where are you going to take a sleep? In my house. Yeah. All right, nowadays we don't know who the nation of Amalek is. Even though a lot of people want to say, it's my next door neighbor, or it's, whatever. But there's no such thing as Amalek. Anybody who doesn't agree with me,
Well, he's the local representative.
Amalek, right, yeah. There is no nation of Amalek today, at least we can recognize. I mean, there certainly are anti-Semites, no doubt about it. But until the Mashiach comes and points out who they are, there's no mitzvah to go around and just killing people who you think are, don't like you or something. Yeshnan av deos asvorim. Some people say that the commandment is not on the Jewish people to destroy Amalek, but on the king. The king, Legayas Bnei Israel, has to make an army, and the army has to wipe out the seed of Amalek. Oh, and nowadays we don't have a king, so. But one second, the Torah is eternal, and the Torah applies also every moment to every person. So it must be that this wiping out of this nation, this elimination, what is it? Extermination of Amalek must exist now. Even those that say that the commandment is every single Jew, but now is not the time to wipe out Amalek physically. Why? The only time the Jews can actually physically wipe out this nation of Amalek is when the Jews are ruling Israel, religious Jews. And Beit, Rakesh Yadua Barur, you have to know clearly who is these people Amalek. But the problem is Amalek is actually a real nation. And right at the end of the first temple came a big king, that his name was a little bit before the end. There came a king called Sancherib. And this king Sancherib, he came and he conquered the whole world. And in order to strengthen his rulership, he took all of the nations and scattered them all around. So he took everyone from France and put them into Liberia. And I'm just saying, making this up, I don't know. And he took everyone from Liberia and he put them into Italy. And he put everyone from Italy, put them into Russia. And everyone from Russia, he put them into France. So that everybody changing hats. And so nobody had their feet on their home ground. And because of that, you couldn't really, he knew that would automatically knock down a very big portion of his opposition. Because they couldn't get, for the land, for the country, So he also took Amalek and he scattered them around. So the people who we think are Amalek are not. It's very interesting also the same thing with Yishmael. Abraham had two sons. Abraham had two sons, Yitzchak and Yishmael. Yishmael is the progenitor, whatever, of the Arabic people. The Arabs, all the Arabs, for Israel. And Yishmael has a portion in Abraham. The problem is when Sancherib came and mixed everything up, so we have no idea, and they also have no idea who the Arabs are. I maybe say the same thing about the Jews, but it seems that that's not what happened. There were 10 tribes that Sancherib did exile, and we don't know who they are and where they are now. And it says one of the things Mashiach is going to do is bring them all back together. And another thing is that that the other two tribes that there were, those were the ones that were brought to Babylon. So the Jews were all taken to Babylon together. So the Jews were really the only nation that was not totally confused and scattered by this. Okay, so anyway, the point of this is we don't know who Amalek is, so don't start sharpening your sword and make practice and say, no, I'm going to go and do a big mitzvah and destroy Amalek, because we first of all, the Jews haven't got the power to do it. And number two is, and you can't say, well, I don't care if they do, I do. You can't do that. And number two, even if we did have the power, we don't know who Amalek is. It's all confused. Only when the Mashiach comes, then will be the hand of the Jews will be powerful. Then it will be clear who is from Amalek. Then the Melech HaMashiach will wipe out all of their seed. And not only that, it will wipe out any influence that they have in the world with Amalek, Mi'ish ve'ad Isha, and etc. Wipe them all out. Kain b'gashmis, also physically. Ilu be'avoda, kain b'gashmis. That's how it was physically. But what about ruchnius? Ruchnius, spiritually, we can wipe out the Amalek inside of us. Okay, Herschel. Shahari Kol Yisrael, all the Jewish people have to remember to wipe out Amalek. Even women. The mitzvah of wiping out Amalek isn't just once in your life or once in a year, but you have to do it every day. This teaches us how important is remembering what Amalek did spiritually, especially in the service of God, constantly. What is Amalek? What are we supposed to wipe out inside of ourselves? What are we supposed to do? In Yanisha Amalek Baruchni, it says Kfar Chabad. It says Amalek cut the Jews off. Another word for korcha also means making cold. Hu mekarer u'mitzanen. The whole thing of Amalek is that he cools off everybody, like the Midrash says. B'derech haTorah v'mitzvahs. Neged akriru shel Amalek. That's what Amalek did. He cools you off, that you don't get excited. That's what Amalek does. He doesn't want you to get excited about God. You can even believe in God. He doesn't care. Just don't get excited. It shouldn't be a thing that's really valuable to you. It's really new. It's something that's really alive. Against this coldness, you have to fight every day. Indifference. It's your biggest enemy. Lo dai b'kach she'etmol. It's not enough that yesterday a person was excited about Torah, he was excited about his praying. A person has to fight against this coldness of Amalek constantly, every day, before he has any contact with the world. A person must be excited, hitlahev, in order to make a war against Amalek. Davar zeh naseh b'tefillah. How do you do it? When you pray. Be'emtzut hitlavut tefillah, by getting excited about the words, the meaning of the words that you're saying when you pray. By realizing when you're praying, you're actually praying. Now, praying is not just asking God for things. The Jewish prayer starts off with a lot of these praises of God. When you really start to praise God and you start to realize God really does exist, and these praises are really true. God is really infinitely good, and He really did take us out of Egypt, and He really does care about us, and He loves us, and He provides for us, and He protects us. When you really start to feel this, then you get excited. Think how excited you'll get if there was a person, sometimes they have these movies and videos of people that were saved. There was, just recently they had some man from, I don't know where he was from, Belgium or something like that. And they invited him, the man is like 98 years old. And they invited him for some sort of his wife told him that we have free tickets to a movie. So took him to a movie. It was a pretty small movie theater. It sat maybe 200 people at the most. And the man is sitting there waiting for the movie. And suddenly they say, Mr. Green. Sitting here today with you are all the people that you saved in the Holocaust, right? You lived in Germany. All these people, you got for them passports, and you forged them that they were non-Jews, and you got them all out of Germany when they were little children. You saved them all, and he's just sitting there. He doesn't know. He's waiting for the movie to start. He doesn't know what's going on, and everyone stands up and they all start clapping. So he just doesn't understand what's going on. His wife taps him, and the guy's 90-something years old. So also he was a little bit, how do you say, not as alert. He was normal, 100% normal. He just sort of looks around, and he looks and he realized what's going on, and he started to weep and to cry, but not, overtly. Just tears started running, and he didn't sort of really realize what he had done. What he had done. That means I'm sorry, just 1 second. Oh, here it is. So when you think about what God is doing for us, and when we're thankful, like these people were thankful to this man, you think about it, you realize, God is really helping us, He's really saving us, He really is creating us, God is really keeping me alive, He's really creating me. When you realize what these words are, that warms you up. That's the weapon against Amalek. That's exactly what Amalek wants to do. He wants to get God out of the picture. He doesn't want Jews to be excited. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe made a very big point of this, that was really the goal of Hitler, that he wanted that God should be out of the picture. And that's why he hated the Jews so much. Because otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. The Jews never did anything to him personally. He made up all these stories about, the Jews are taking over the government and the Jews are this. All of a sudden he picked on the Jews for some reason. And he went around and searched them. And he also killed a lot of gypsies and other people. But the Jews, he made a special thing to look for them and search for them in forests and old ones and young ones. So, and not only that, the gypsies, as long as if they would say that they weren't gypsies, they would be out of it. They wouldn't go look for who was a gypsy. The people who looked like gypsies. But a Jew could be already assimilated 4 generations. And he changed his name, and he changed his nose, and he changed his everything. And he would still kill him if he found the generations. Why? Because he hated God, and he didn't. So, okay, if he didn't succeed in killing the Jew. What?
He had the Superman concept.
There was the Superman concept. The victory of the will. The victory of the will over what? Over conscience. You shouldn't feel bad about killing people. You shouldn't feel bad about raping and pillaging and destroying and right? Superman means he's over and above any sort of conscience or.
Superman was also very materialistic. It's not spiritual. It's the body. It's physically in this.
Sure, that's right. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want to. Huh? It was Nietzsche's basic idea. Yeah. I'm no big expert in Nietzsche, but that was one of his things. Forget about God. You're the man. You're the one. Power, war. Therefore, we have to advertise in our generation. This is the way we can wipe out Amalek even physically. When the Mashiach comes, if you're excited about God, then you'll be excited about the Mashiach. And then you'll be willing to listen to what he says. That which we must advertise is that the war against Amalek has to be every generation and every day. You should not be satisfied with what you've already done. I'm already religious, I have a beard, I have tzitzis, what do you want more from? A person cannot be satisfied in the fact that he is a grandfather. And he's okay. He's got good children, he's a good father. Oh, Shahoya Afu Atzmo Yehudi Kosher, or that, and even more. I'm a good father, I have good children, grandchildren, and even more, I'm okay. I'm good. You have to always war never be satisfied, make a war against coldness of Amalek. Who does Amalek make war against? Hanechashalim, the people who are dragging behind. Amalek can always get in, v'yizanev b'chal kol hanechashalim. You can always, there's a little bit of doubts that you have. The word Amalek is also the same word for doubt, suffix, it's the same numerical value. Amalek and suffix, you ever heard that before? Suffix means doubt. Amalek is the same numerical value as suffix, as doubt. What Amalek does is it puts doubts in your mind about God, not doubts in your mind about the stock market or whatever. Does God exist or does God not exist? Of course God exists. What's the question? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. He does. Okay, good, he does exist. And God will help you. Maybe he will help and maybe he won't help. No, he will. Okay, God will help. But maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to, and maybe he can. No, God helps and he wants to. Maybe he wants to, but maybe he hasn't got the power to help everybody. Right? And those little doubts always come in. And maybe, he has the power to help everybody, but there's no reason why he should help me. Maybe everybody else, but not me. And maybe, right? Then it could be, that's the doubts that Amalek puts into your mind. That makes you, cools you off. Right? Cools you off. I'll tell you a story in just 1 second. Al yadei machatimche, to wipe out Amalek. Bias Mashiach, he will truly wipe out even the remembrance of Amalek. Bakar of Mamash. When I learned in Hadara Torah, it was a Baal Tshuva Yeshiva. And people used to do Nivtzoyim, they would go out. So there was this hospital, I think it was Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, I don't know. It was near 770.
It's about 15 minutes walk.
Yeah, okay. 15. So there was one floor that was like the end floor. People would go up there that was, from there to the grave. So we used to go there and I would put the fill-in on the men. And Erev Shabbos, I would give out like little bottles of grape juice to them to make kiddush from. And anyway, so there was one fellow. He was a religious guy. He had a kippah, didn't have a beard. Religious guy. We used to sit between two beds. Sort of a heavy guy. When I would come there, he was already sitting there. I would talk to him. I came one day, it was after the Rebbe gave a sicha about Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av is, after the Tisha B'Av, the destruction of the temple, now the moon is full, it shows the Jewish people are full, Mashiach is going to come. And I heard it, I got all excited about it, and I went, and I told this guy, I talked to everybody that was there. So I said, I just heard a sicha from the Rebbe, it was really wonderful, I was so excited. It says that now the Mashiach is gone, but the moon is now full, and the Jewish people are like, the moon, this is the middle of the month, the 15th day of Av, is going to come, Mashiach is going to come any moment. And he looked up at me and he said, an alte Geschäft, an old story. As soon as he said that, it was like he took a little needle, and I had this whole big dirigible balloon or something, and it just went, psh, took all of my excitement out. An alte Geschäft, he said. So don't let Amalek get you, take away your enthusiasm. As we'll talk more, God willing, tomorrow. Thank you very much.